Hello everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I'm coming to you live from Warren Field in Brookline, Massachusetts for a little youth baseball action courtesy of the Lou Tompkins All-Star League. Today's game is between Brookline and Waltham. Brookline coming in with a 1-2 record while Waltham comes in undefeated at 3-0. And we are getting ready to start the top of the first inning. It's Jake Levin on the mound for Brookline as he throws in the first pitch, and he catches the outside corner for strike one against Waltham's leadoff hitter, number 5, the third baseman, C.J. Mills. Levin sets, he gets ready for his next pitch, throws it in. Hard cut by Mills, but he misses. 0-2 the count, and Levin off to a good start. Teams had to wait out some rain and some brief thunder here, but the game's still going underway as Levin gets set, fires, and that one is high and outside. That's going to be ball one. Levin now sets the 1-2 count. He fires, and we got a connection. Mills sends it out to right field, and it is caught. Hauled in for the first out of the day by Owen Roach out in left field for Brookline. A nice reach on the cut by Mills, but he couldn't quite get it. It lifted just a little too much, and easy pickings for Owen Roach out in left field as Brookline gets the first out. Now up to the plate for Waltham is number 2, Bobby Delly, the first baseman. First pitch is outside from Levin. Delly, the first left-handed batter of the game, just the number 2 hitter, but brings in that different southpaw angle. Levin gets set, winds and fires, and catches the outside corner on Delly. He's been working that outside corner a lot so far. So 1-1 the count. Levin fires, goes inside this time. Delly caught a piece of it, but it tips back to the catcher's glove. 1-2 now the count. Levin working the counts early here, taking some big advantages early. He pitches, gets him inside, jams him for an easy pop up to third base. A nice catch by Rocco Shorgy for the second out of the inning. Levin working very efficiently here in the top of the first for Brookline. All right, now up to the plate, number 17, the catcher, Matt O'Toole, another lefty, and Levin fires inside, jams him, and this one is going foul behind the backstop. So after some early weather concerns, the rain seems to have completely let up. The thunder as well, making for actually a pretty nice day for baseball. So that's a nice twist of fate as Levin gets set to deliver the 0-1 pitch. And this one's a hard grounder over to second, fielded cleanly, thrown over to first, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. Routine grab for the second baseman, Jack Martell, as he throws it over to Eli Rothman at first, putting an end to the inning. So some very quick and efficient work by Jake Levin. As we take a look now at the full lineups, as we saw from Waltham's team, leading off was C.J. Mills, the third baseman, followed up by Bobby Delly at first base, and then Matt O'Toole at catcher. Those three went down in order. And then following up them in the inning to come, Cal Cononi, the left fielder, bats cleanup, followed by the pitcher, Justin Moran, then shortstop Ian LaForest, third baseman Jaden Fitzgerald, center fielder Tyler Chiasson, right fielder Nick LaForest, and then just in case, we have extra hitter Drew Anderson. So Moran takes the mound, getting ready for the bottom of the first as Brookline gets ready to come up. Due up for Brookline, leading off is number 1, the right fielder Owen Roach, who made that nice catch on the fly ball by C.J. Mills in the top of the first inning. Then we've got Rocco Shorgy, the third baseman, number 8, batting second. He also caught a pop-up, so first couple of batters got some nice catches to start the game in the top of the first. They'll now come to the plate. Batting third will be Aiden Chin, the center fielder, number 16, followed by extra hitter Ramsey Annis, number 21, at cleanup. Jasper Reed, the catcher, number 20, in the fifth spot. Then shortstop Caleb McGrath, number 15. Left fielder Brage Golding, number 11. Jack Martell, the second baseman, number 6, who fielded that last ground out at the top of the first. And Eli Rothman, the first baseman, number 27. And, of course, Jake Levin, the guy on the mound for Brookline, who made pretty efficient work of Waltham in the top of the first, number 41. So Moran warming up, throwing to his catcher Matt O'Toole, as Owen Roach gets ready to come up to the plate here in the bottom of the first inning, as we are just seeing more and more sun coming out here at Warren Field as the game goes on. After the early uncertainties before the game, with some rainfall and some thunder in the distance. Every once in a while you can still hear a little bit of thunder, but with the clouds seeming to move away from this location, seems pretty safe to continue, and the umpires are saying let them play. I'll tell you, I like that. I love being out here. I'm so happy to be out broadcasting sports again. It's been a tough spring and summer for so many sports fans, sports employees, and of course the players and coaches, and I think everybody's happy to be back out on the field now. Brookline, of course, trying to get back in the wins column after their most recent game, a tough 6-5 loss to Reading's red team. And now Waltham coming in with an undefeated record thus far, and they're averaging about 8 runs a game. So on paper, it looks like it could be a really tough competition for Brookline, but Brookline showed with their most recent game they can stand up to undefeated squads, as Reading Red is the only other undefeated team in the Lou Tompkins A division, along with Waltham. So we'll see what kind of fight they can put up today. We've got Owen Roach now. And here comes the pitch. And he catches the low outside corner, strike one. So an 0-1 count to Roach. Moran sets, winds, and fires. And that's strike two. Looks like he had a little curve on that pitch. I think Roach may have been expecting a high pitch on that, and then it just dipped down into the strike zone. 0-2 the count. Here comes the pitch. This one's in the dirt for ball one. So 1-2 now the count to leadoff hitter Owen Roach. Here comes the pitch from Moran. He connects. This one's going out to right field, and it drops in front of the right fielder. We've got the game's first base hit. Owen Roach made some solid contact, and unlike the fly ball that came to him in the top of the first, this one managed to get down in front of Nick LaForest, and now Brookline's got a runner on first for Rocco Shorgy. Shorgy, the third baseman, who caught a pop-up in the top of the first. First pitch to him is just outside, ball one. 1-0 the count. Roach standing at first base after the first base hit of the game from either team. Now Moran sets, winds, and fires. That one's a little high. So a good eye early in the at-bat from Rocco Shorgy, as this is I think the first at-bat we've seen from either team that got to a 2-ball count, as we've now got 2-0 the count. Moran winds and fires and just catches the lower end of the strike zone for the first strike to Rocco Shorgy. 2-1 now the count. Runner on first here in the bottom of the second of this scoreless game. Moran sets and fires, and big swing from Shorgy, but that one flies off foul to the right side, and we got a 2-2 count. So Moran a little shaky on the first couple pitches of this at-bat, but he's recovered and now has a pitcher's count at 2-2. Here we go, Rock. Let's go, kid. Shorgy steps in. Moran checks Owen Roach at first base, sets, and fires. Roach takes off, but it's a foul ball into the dirt by Shorgy. So the attempted hit and run does not quite work, but Shorgy manages to stay in the at-bat here. But Brookline showing they might be a little aggressive on the base paths early on. But, I mean, hey, that's why you're the leadoff hitter. You want to get on bases and then threaten to move the bases. So far, Owen Roach is doing his job. Moran checks the runner once again. Sets. Fires the 2-2, and this one's ripped foul to the right side once again. Win this. So Shorgy giving Moran a fight here in the bottom of the first inning. As he's got a 2-2 count. He's fouled off 3 pitches thus far. Moran checks the runner at first and fires, and that ball is high. And now we've got a full count. Rocco Shorgy, this is one of those at-bats that regardless of the result, you got to give him props for a good eye, resilience with the foul balls, and just working up that pitcher's pitch count. Moran sets, fires, Roach takes off, and we got another foul ball, this time behind the backstop. Brookline definitely looking for that early hit and run so they can get a runner into scoring position. Thus far, a couple of foul balls. But Shorgy staying alive for a long second at bat of the inning. Here's the pitch. A grounder up the middle, grabbed by the shortstop. He gets the force at second, but can't get the force at first, and the throw goes wild. But it's recovered easily by the first baseman, and so Rocco Shorgy will reach on a fielder's choice as Owen Roach couldn't quite reach second in time. Definitely one of those situations where Brookline probably wishes that that grounder came on one of their hit and run tries. Stronger possibility that he might have reached second safely, though not likely since the grounder pretty much went right to the shortstop right by the bag. So 1 out in the inning, still a runner on first, and the center fielder Aiden Chin now at the plate. Moran with the first pitch, catches the inside corner, strike 1. So 0-1 the count, 1 out in the bottom of the first. Rocco Shorgy stands at first base with Aiden Chin facing Justin Moran. Moran fires. We got a grounder over to third, and it just rolls foul. That looked like it was going to be going for an infield single potentially there if it had stayed fair. Chin got off to a good break toward first, and Shorgy was running well towards second, and it was a slow roller over to the third baseman, but he patiently waited and let it roll foul, and now we've got an 0-2 count instead. Justin Moran sets, fires, and this one's ripped into the gap on the left side, goes into left field, clean single for Aiden Chin. So still only 1 out, now 2 runners on for Brookline, and the cleanup hitter, Ramsey Annis, is now up to the plate. This is the kind of situation you want your cleanup hitter to be in. 2 men on, and only 1 out in the inning. Rocco Shorgy at second, Aiden Chin at first. Justin Moran checks the runner at second and fires. And gets it in there for strike 1. Ramsey Annis stands back in. Moran checks the runner at second. Winds and fires. And manages to catch the corner on that one. Looked like the ball dipped a little bit, may have had a little bit of curve on it, and he managed to fool Annis to get him into an early 0-2 count. Justin Moran checking the runners, sets and fires. Swung on and missed. And Ramsey Annis goes down swinging. First strikeout of the game for either team. And it's 2 outs with runners on first and second as the catcher, Jasper Reed, comes up to the plate. Moran sets, fires, and again manages to catch that inside corner. He's been working that inside corner well against the last 2 batters, and he gets the early 0-1 count against Jasper Reed. Runners on first and second still. Moran checks and fires. And we got a pop-up. Looks like it's going out to center field, but easily tracked down by the center fielder. That was Tyler Chiasson with the catch, and so Brookline gets 2 runners on, but unfortunately can't advance further than that. I'm Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. After the first inning, we are scoreless here at Warren Field. I will be right back with the second inning after a short break. Thank you again for listening. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Warren Field in Brookline, Massachusetts. I am still Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. We are here in the top of the second of this youth baseball contest between Brookline and Waltham. And Brookline pitcher Jake Levin fires in the first pitch, and it is high to Waltham left fielder and cleanup hitter Cal Canoni. Levin sent the batters down in order in the top of the first, fires his next pitch, just catches the outside corner, and we've got a 1-1 count. Brookline threatened a little bit in the bottom of the first, got runners on first and second after a couple of nice hits, but couldn't advance further. Levin fires, and this time manages to get Canoni to foul off to the left side. Bit of a curve on that pitch, and Canoni had to reach, and now we've got a 2-1 count. Two and one the count. Levin sets, winds, and fires, and this one's outside. And I think the umpire said the count was 2-2, so maybe I misunderstood one of the calls. Levin winds and fires, and we've got a hard contact over to the shortstop, fielded cleanly, thrown over to first, and that's going to be the first out of the inning, as Canoni grounds out to the shortstop, Caleb McGrath. Cleanly fielded grounder, easily thrown to first, and we've got 1 down in the top of the second. So now the pitcher, Justin Moran, who was able to get out of an early jam in the bottom of the first, comes up for his first at bat. Levin winds and fires, and this one is low for ball 1. One and 0 the count. Levin gets set and fires. Moran hits it. It's into shallow right. And Roach charges in and catches it. Jack Martell, the second baseman, was backing up, looking to try and chase it down, but it carried just far enough and just high enough that Roach was able to call him off and make the easier catch in front of him. So once again, 2 down very quickly in the top of the second. First pitch from Levin, and he catches the corner for strike 1 against number 3, Ian LaForest, the shortstop. Another pitch, and this one is hit back to the shortstop. Fielded again by McGrath. He throws, and he's got him. So back-to-back groundouts. And once again, Levin puts him down in order. A really good start to the day by Brookline pitcher Jake Levin. Back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings. That's the kind of momentum starter you want to see from your pitcher. And now, due up will be the second half of Brookline's order, starting with McGrath. After Jasper Reed ended the bottom of the first with a flyout to center. Some pretty quick work there in the top of the second. We had another flyout to right, and then back-to-back groundouts to the shortstop. So Justin Moran, after producing one of those groundouts, steps back in. As he warms up, getting ready for this, still a scoreless game here at Warren Field. We'll see if Brookline can put some runners on base again after they built some pretty good momentum in the bottom of the first. A single to right by Roach, and then after a fielder's choice by Shorgy, Aiden Chin with a single through the left gap, to set things up with first and second and only one out, but then a strikeout and a fly out to center put an end to that rally. See if Brookline can put things together again.
Let's go, Caleb. Come on, 1-5. Hey, 1-5. Here we go, Caleb. Let's get it started, kid.
Looks like we're just about ready to get started as Moran fires off his last warm-up pitch. Catcher throws down to second, and we are ready to get this bottom of the second inning underway. Starting off with shortstop Caleb McGrath. Fielded a couple of nice grounders for some easy putouts to put an end to the top of the second. And now we'll get the chance to see what he can do here at the plate. Moran winds and fires the first pitch and catches the outside corner for strike one. Moran winds and fires again, goes high and inside this time, and gets another strike. So Moran painting all around the zone in this at-bat against Caleb McGrath. And we've got an early 0-2 count. Moran winds and fires, and McGrath this time, he gets some good contact. That's flying out to left center field, and that's going all the way to the wall. McGrath rounds first, and he heads into second, and he decides to hold at second with a clean double. Beautiful connection there by Caleb McGrath, and he's had some pretty good action in the past 3 at-bats. First fielding back-to-back grounders on the defensive side, and then connecting with an 0-2 pitch, hitting it cleanly out to the gap in left center, and as it flew all the way to the wall, and he gets an easy double. And now up next is Brage Golding, the left fielder. First pitch from Moran, that goes low, but a nice grab by O'Toole to not let it get past him, and instead it's just a 1-0 count. If that had gotten past O'Toole, that could have put McGrath all the way over to third. He winds and fires to Golding. And that one was high, ball 2. So a 2-0 count. Moran checks the runner at second and fires high and outside. So a 3-0 count. He fires in and just catches the corner. So 3-1. Now the count to Brage Golding.
Hey, Sticks. Let's go, kid.
We've got Caleb McGrath on second.
Hey, let's go, Brage.
Nobody out here in the bottom of the second. Brookline trying to get things going again. Moran checks the runner and fires. Swung on and missed by Golding. He wanted that one. He swung hard, but just mistimed it. I think that might have been a changeup from Justin Moran. Some clever mixing up of things.
Hey, Brage, let's go, kid.
So a full count now. Moran fires. Swung on and missed again. Golding fought hard, but couldn't find the ball with his bat and goes down swinging. And now it'll be Jack Martell coming up next, the second baseman.
Hey, good job, Sticks. Let's go, kid.
Moran checks McGrath over at second, winds and fires. In the strike zone easily for strike one. 0-1 the count to Jack Martell. Checks the runner and fires, and we've got some contact. This is going to be a pop fly out to shallow right. And then he dropped it. Dropped by the right fielder, and he stumbles a bit as McGrath trots over to third easily. And so now, with runners on the corners, it is the first baseman, Eli Rothman, the guy who's fielded all the groundouts, fielded the throws from all the groundouts so far. He could hit in the guy who's thrown him the last couple if he manages to get some good contact. First pitch, Rothman pops it up, but behind the backstop, and that's going to be a foul ball. Eli Rothman batting with Caleb McGrath at third, and Jack Martell at first after the error in right field by Nick LaForest. Pitches in, it curves low, and is fouled behind the backstop again by Eli Rothman. Back-to-back foul balls, and we've got a quick 0-2 count. Moran checks McGrath over at third, sets, fires. This one's high, ball one. One down so far in the bottom of the second. We got runners on the corners for Brookline. Hoping to strike first against the undefeated Waltham. Moran fires. They were going for a hit and run with Martell, but it was fouled to the backstop by Rothman. His third foul ball of the at-bat. Count stays at 1-2. That's the third time already that Brookline has tried a hit and run, only to see it blown dead by a foul ball. Moran checks the runners. Winds and fires. This one is high. And it's now a 2-2 count. Eli Rothman fighting in the count here. That's one thing we've consistently seen from the Brookline hitters so far early in this game is they've fought for some long at-bats as Moran fires. It's outside a ball. They throw down to second for the steal, and they catch him. Jack Martell tried to take off. They might have been hoping for a hit and run again, and looks like the coach is going to come out to maybe call for a review on the play. So the third ball makes it a full count to Eli Rothman, but they attempted to try and steal with Martell, and it didn't quite work. So now 2 outs, and just like that, Brookline is now 1 strike away from ending the bottom of the second. However, they are also just 90 feet away from scoring the game's first run. Moran winds, fires, swung on and missed. Strike 3, and that will put an end to the second inning. Still scoreless after Brookline threatens in back-to-back innings. We'll be right back with the top of the third as Brookline takes the field again. I'm Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, live from Warren Field in Brookline, and I will be right back. Stay tuned. Hello, and welcome back to Warren Field at Brookline, Massachusetts. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, and we're getting ready to start the top of the third of this youth baseball game between Brookline and Waltham. Stepping up to the plate for Waltham, Jaden Fitzgerald, and Jake Levin fires the first pitch in for a strike. Levin has been working very efficiently against these Waltham hitters after back-to-back 1-2-3 innings. Another pitch from Levin. This one outside for a ball. One of the things that has been interesting so far about this start for Levin, not a single strikeout so far, and yet no one has reached base. Levin fires again. Almost curved back into the zone, but didn't quite have enough dip on it. It's going to be just high, ball 2. 2-1 the count. Levin winds, fires, and we got a slow roller over to first. Juggled by the first baseman, but he recovers and tosses it over to the pitcher. Some near disaster there as Eli Rothman juggled a slow rolling grounder, but he managed to recover and toss it over to Levin, who smartly had dashed over to cover first base, and that's the first out of the inning. So next up is Tyler Chiasson, First pitch from Levin. Did he swing? Looks like they're going to say no, and that's going to be a ball.
Here we go, Jake. Let's go, kid.
Levin winds and fires this one in the dirt, and that's going to be ball 2.
Hey, you got this, Jake. Let's go, kid.
So, a couple of back-to-back hitters counts here. 2 straight at-bats where he's thrown 2 balls early in the at-bat. Levin winds and fires. That's going to be outside for ball 3. 3-0 count now. It's different from what Levin's been dishing out so far. He's been dishing out a lot of quick strikes. Fires this one and just catches the corner for strike 1.
Buckle down, buckle down.
Of course, an interesting situation from the umpire's perspective. Nobody behind the plate. They got a guy behind the pitcher's mound calling balls and strikes as Chasen swings and misses for strike 2 to give us a full count. Levin winds, fires, swung on and missed. So a great recovery by Jake Levin to get his first strikeout of the day. And now, following Chasen, will be Nick LaForest, who had an error in the bottom of the second on a fly ball by Jack Martell. First pitch is in the dirt for a ball. So it was an error that could have proved costly, but Martell was caught stealing, and then Rothman struck out swinging to end the threat. Meanwhile, Waltham has yet to pose too many threats. Not a single batter has reached base yet. As the next pitch from Levin is in for a strike, and we've got a 1-1 count. Levin winds and fires in the dirt, and that's a 2-1 count to Nick LaForest. Levin stares in, he sets, fires, and there's some contact here. It's going out to shallow right, chased down by Roach once again. Third fly out to go Roach's way, and he's tracked down every single one of them. So that'll put an end to the top of the third, and what do you know, another 1-2-3 inning from Jake Levin. He's been doing very well and getting some nice backup from his fielders. Not a single hit or a single walk, not even a single reach-on error so far for Waltham. And again, this is a Waltham team that came in with a perfect 3-0 record and was averaging 9 runs. They were averaging 9 runs per game through their first 3 games. And so far, through the first 3 innings of offense for Waltham, they have yet to reach base. So an impressive start for Jake Levin and the Brookline fielders behind him. Justin Moran has had to fend off some early threats the first 2 innings as a runner reached scoring position in both innings. He's given up 3 hits, including 1 extra base hit, and then there was 1 reach-on error. On the flip side of things, Moran has done good digging himself out of these holes, and he's proven adept at getting the Brookline hitters to swing and miss. 3 strikeouts through the first 2 innings, as it'll be the pitcher Jake Levin who leads off before we cycle back to the top of the lineup for Brookline here in the bottom of the third. It'll be Levin, Roach, and Shorgy coming up here in the bottom of the third. And after the last warm-up pitch, Jake Levin steps into the box. So Levin has had plenty of success on the mound, including when facing off against his counterpart, Justin Moran, who winds and fires. And that's going to be in there for strike one. Levin, of course, forced Moran to ground out to shortstop back in the top of the second inning. Now Moran winds and fires. Just catches the inside corner. That's strike two. So a quick 0-2 count to Levin. Moran shakes off a couple pitches, gets one he likes, and then fires. And he gets Levin swinging. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and Moran gets probably the quickest out he's gotten of the game thus far. Brookline has been showing some good plate patience and some resilience in a lot of their early at-bats, but nothing doing on that one. As now Owen Roach comes up for his second at-bat. First pitch is fouled behind the backstop. Roach, of course, reached on a single to right field, leading off the bottom of the first. Ironically, hitting to his own position where he has caught 3 foul balls already. So the 0-1 count, Moran stares in and fires. Roach catches it. It's popped up into shallow left, and the shortstop backs up and catches it. So 2 down very quickly so far this inning. And Rocco Shorgy, who reached on a fielder's choice to the shortstop in his at-bat in the bottom of the first. He steps in. Moran winds and fires. And that's going to be low for ball 1. Moran winds and fires. In. Ooh, a delayed strike call there, as the ump says that he caught the inside corner. Moran winds and fires from 1-1 count, and it's connected just over the shortstop's reaching glove and into left field. So a single to left by Rocco Shorgy, and Aiden Chin comes up. Chin, of course, singled through the gap to the left side between second and third. In his first at-bat in the bottom of the first, he'll be hoping to keep things going as he faces a very similar situation to what he faced in the bottom of the first, with Rocco Shorgy at first base. Of course, this time there's 2 outs instead of 1. First pitch from Moran is in for a strike.
Let's go 1-6.
Justin Moran checks the runner first, and he goes for a pickoff throw back safely. Of course, Moran has seen Brookline be aggressive on the base paths thus far. They've tried multiple hit and runs that were blown dead by some foul balls, and then they got caught trying to have Jack Martell steal second in the bottom of the second inning. Moran winds and fires, gets it in there for strike 2. So another quick 0-2 count. Moran checks the runner at first, sets, and fires. Runner takes off, throw down to second, and he slides in safely. And the pitch itself was high, so we got a 1-2 count. The inning marches on, and we've now got a runner at second. So Brookline gets a runner to scoring position for the 3rd consecutive inning, courtesy of the single and steal by Rocco Shorgy. Moran winds and fires the 1-2 pitch, and that one is high as well, and that's going to be ball 2. So 2-2 count to Aiden Chin. Runner on second, 2 down in the bottom of the 3rd of a scoreless game. Moran checks the runner, checks him again, winds and fires, and Chin fouls it off the backstop. So after 2 quick outs to start this inning, we see Aiden Chin coming back to the long at-bats that Brookline has been using to torture Moran in the early stages of this game. 2-2 still the count. Moran checks the runner at second. Winds and fires. Aiden Chin sends it up the middle. This could bring in a run. Shorgy rounds third. He's headed for home. They chuck it down, and he comes in standing up, and Chin runs down to second, and we've got the first run of this ball game. A single up the middle by Aiden Chin drives in Rocco Shorgy, and Chin advances to second on the throw. So Brookline strikes first. And they now have a 1-0 lead and still have a runner in scoring position for Ramsey Annis. Wind up the pitch. It's a grounder over to third, and it's juggled by the third baseman. And Chin was racing down to third, so he moves over to third. Some bold base running there by Aiden Chin. He was starting to hesitate as the ball was about to reach the third baseman's glove, but he juggled it. Who knows? He may have been looking at the runner instead of at the ball. That was Jaden Fitzgerald. And now Jasper Reed with runners on the corners and 2 outs. Brookline now with the 1-0 lead over the undefeated Waltham as Moran's first pitch is a strike. Reed, of course, flew out to center to end the bottom of the first inning. Next pitch, high and outside for ball 1. Aiden Chin stands at third. Ramsey Annis at first. The catcher, Jasper Reed, standing in the box, awaiting the pitch. The 1-1 pitch in the dirt, corralled by O'Toole, but that makes ball 2. O'Toole has been pretty reliable at the backstop so far. A couple of pitches from Moran thus far could have turned into some dangerous passed balls, but O'Toole has corralled them well. Moran sets, fires the 2-1 pitch. Connected by Reed, but that's going to fly foul. Some nice contact, but swung just a bit early as he pulled it. Foul to the left side. So now a 2-2 count. 2 outs, runners on the corners here in the bottom of the third. Brookline in their third straight inning, having reached a scoring position and having already scored their first run, courtesy of an RBI single by Aiden Chin, who now stands at third. The pitch, foul to the backstop by Reed. And once again, that resilience on the at-bats makes the day just that much longer for the pitcher. And even if the guy gets out, that wears him down. Jasper Reed still standing with a 2-2 count and 2 down here in the bottom of the third. Moran sets and fires. Reed connects once again just a little too early, and it flies foul to the left side. So 3 straight foul balls by Jasper Reed. And it looks like Annis may have taken off on that pitch. Brookline again with the aggressive base running.
Let's go, Jasper. Let's go, kid.
Still a 2-2 count.
Hey, 2-0. Let's go, kid. Let's go, Jasper.
Moran checks the runner at first, sets and fires, and it goes way high for ball 3. Again, almost went past the catcher, but I got to give credit where credit is due. Matt O'Toole has done a great job defensively covering for his pitcher on some of the more out-of-control pitches to prevent the Brookline runners from advancing, particularly in this at-bat. So a full count now, 2 outs, runners on the corners. Moran sets, fires to Reed, and that's high, and Reed draws a walk. So the bases now loaded for Caleb McGrath, who doubled to left center in his last at-bat. So far, the only extra base hit of the game thus far. We'll see if he's got a similar nice strike in him now that he's got the bases juiced for him. Moran winds and fires. Just high, ball 1. Brookline's been making these innings long for pitcher Justin Moran, who winds and fires the 1-0 pitch. Inside and high again. 2-0 count. McGrath steps back in. Moran winds and fires the 2-0 pitch. Another high pitch, and we've got a 3-0 count. Brookline 1 pitch away from getting a bases-loaded walk in their second run of the game. McGrath steps in. Moran fires. Right down the middle, strike 1. 3-1 count. As tantalizing as a pitch right down Broadway must be, you got to take a pitch like that in a situation there. 3-0. Moran winds, fires, high again, and we got a bases-loaded walk. Aiden Chin trots home easily. And Brookline now with a 2-0 lead. And the bases still loaded for the lefty hitter, Brage Golding. We've got a defensive timeout here. Matt O'Toole goes out to talk to his pitcher. Understandable. Back-to-back walks. It's been a tough inning for Justin Moran. He quickly got 2 outs, struck out Jake Levin on 3 pitches, got Roach to pop out to shortstop in 2 pitches, but since then, a single to left by Shorgy, a single up the middle by Chin, an error at third base, and now here comes the first pitch to Golding, and he fouls it off the end of his bat behind the backstop, strike 1. And then after that single brought in the first run, and Annis reached on an error, he walked the next 2 batters to bring in another run. So O'Toole clearly trying to get Moran to just, hey, settle down a little bit. And his first pitch was a strike, but the next pitch way high and outside. As he faces what I believe is the lone lefty hitter of the Brookline starting lineup, Brage Golding. Moran winds and fires 1-1 pitch. It's sent over to second base. This could be a force out. Nobody was covering second, so the second baseman had to throw to first, but it's still the final out of the inning. Cleanly fielded by the second baseman. I believe C.J. Mills is the second baseman, as he fired to the first baseman, Bobby Deli. So that brings an end to the bottom of the third, but not before Brookline becomes the first to strike on the board. A 2-0 lead over undefeated Waltham. I'll be right back with the 4th inning of this game. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, live from Warren Field in Brookline, and we will be right back. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to Warren Field in Brookline, Massachusetts. I am still Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. We are coming to you live for the 4th inning of this youth baseball game between Brookline and Waltham. Sorry for the delay, a bit of technical difficulty there, but I can tell you that the first batter at the top of the 4th, that was number 11, Drew Anderson, the extra hitter, tried to lay down a bunt, but it was picked up and thrown out at first base, so 1 down. And now we're back to the top of the order with C.J. Mills. Jake Levin throws in a strike, and he's now at a 2-2 count. Levin throws. It's a grounder. It's going up the middle. Can it be fielded by the shortstop? It's fielded, thrown, and he caught him. What a chase down and throw by the shortstop, Caleb McGrath, and what a game he has been having so far. 1 for 1 with a double and an RBI walk last inning. And now a great grab and throw on a slow roller up the middle that looked like it was going to be turning into an infield single, instead turns into a ground out. So now Bobby Deli comes up for his second at bat. He popped out to third his first time up in the top of the first inning. And a 1-0 pitch goes back to the shortstop. Fielded again by McGrath, and you may have heard one of his teammates saying, too easy, too easy. He does make it too easy. And Levin is making it too easy as he goes 1-2-3 for the 4th inning in a row. Brookline, of course, now with a 2-0 lead, and they're coming right back to bat after less than 10 pitches. I mean, the Brookline hitters, they've had single at-bats that have come close to 10 pitches, and Levin just put down his hitters in less than that. So color me impressed by this Brookline defensive effort so far, led by the pitcher Jake Levin, and some great defensive efforts by players like Owen Roach in right field, Caleb McGrath at short, and of course can't forget Eli Rothman at first, who's been fielding the throws from his fellow infielders on all the groundouts. And due up to start the bottom of the 4th for Brookline will be the second baseman, Jack Martell, followed by the first baseman, Eli Rothman, and then the pitcher himself, Jake Levin. And Levin led off the previous inning, as the bottom of the 3rd was a pretty effective inning for the Brookline offense. They start out with a pair of quick outs, a strikeout swinging by Levin, and then a pop-up to short by Owen Roach. But then Rocco Shorgy started the 2-out rally with a single to left, then stole second. Aiden Chin sent a single rolling up the middle, allowing Shorgy to score from second, and then Chin advanced to second on the throw. Ramsey Annis grounded into an error by the third baseman, and Chin reached third. And then back-to-back walks by Jasper Reed and Caleb McGrath brought in the second run before Brage Golding grounded out to second to end the inning. So we'll see what the Brookline lineup has in store for us this time, as the bottom of the lineup is due up this time. Last time you had the number 10 hitter cycling around into the top of the lineup, and so you really got the meat of the lineup to get things going. This time we'll be leading with the bottom of the lineup for the first 3 hitters. Justin Moran stepping it back onto the mound for Waltham. A tough inning he had last time. Started to lose control towards the end of the inning as he winds and fires the first pitch to Martell. Martell hits a hard grounder past the diving third baseman, and it's shallow in left field as the grass kind of halts it, but he gets an easy single. First pitch, and Martell came out swinging for a single down the left field line. Runner on first immediately. That's really been the difference so far, is defensive efforts. Not that that was an easy grab, but a couple of defensive errors so far for Waltham have really made things harder for Moran, as we've got a first pitch bunt by Rothman down the first base line, picked up by Moran and thrown to first. Out number 1. But he advances Martell to second. So Rothman did his job there, a clean bunt. Almost a nice drag bunt there down the first base line, but only drew the pitcher. And so a successful sacrifice puts a runner in scoring position for the 4th straight inning. And now the pitcher, Jake Levin. First pitch from Moran is in the dirt, ball 1. Jack Martell stands at second with 1 out in the inning. Moran checks the runner at second, winds and fires, and Levin skies one into shallow center field. And that'll be caught by the center fielder for out number 2. Nice catch out in center field by Tyler Chiasen. And now we're back to the top of the order with Owen Roach. Single to right in his first at-bat in the first inning. Popped out to the shortstop on the shallow parts of the outfield grass in the previous inning. We'll see what he's got in store here with a runner on second and 2 down. First pitch. Roach fouls that one back. Strike 1.
Hey, stick. Let's go on.
0-1 the count here to the leadoff hitter and right fielder, Owen Roach.
Let's go, kid.
Batting 1 for 2 so far today. Moran checks the runner at second and fires. High and inside, ball 1.
Let's go, one.
Brookline leads this game 2-0, hoping to return to a 500 record as they come in 1-2 against the undefeated Waltham. Moran winds and fires. This one drops low. Ball 2.
Let's go, Owen.
Good eye there by Owen Roach. Looked like it was going to be coming into the strike zone, but then dropped off the table. Roach smartly took it, and he's got a 2-1 count now. Moran checks the runner at second. He winds and fires. Just catches the inside corner for strike 2. Again, we talk about the plate patience. Brookline's been coming out rather aggressively, swinging within the first 2 pitches of every at-bat up to this point. But their patience at the plate has been a real asset. As Moran winds and fires, and it's fouled behind by Roach. Whether it be taking pitches or fouling pitches away to stay alive, Brookline has been working it so far in terms of making the day longer for Waltham pitcher Justin Moran. Roach steps back in. 2-2 the count. Runner on second, 2 down. Brookline leads 2-0. 2's all over the place as Moran fires, and it's slapped into left center. That's going to drop, and the runner's going to come in. Easy run scores as Roach hits his second single of the day and drives in Jack Martell. Brookline now leads 3-0. These 2-out hits by Brookline have been something to behold. They have scored each of their 3 runs with 2 down. A team that just does not hesitate with its back to the wall so far, whether it be all the 2-strike pitches they've fouled off or the 2-out runs they've scored. Rocco Shorgy steps in. First pitch is low, but Roach takes off for second. Clean throw to second, but he just gets under it. Really good throw by Matt O'Toole. But Roach managed to slide just under the tag. And the aggression on the base paths pays off again for Brookline as they have a runner in scoring position now. Shorgy takes a pitch just inside for strike 2.
Hey, do a job.
So 0-2 the count. 2 down, runner on second. Moran winds and fires. Inside this time. 1-2 the count. Rocco Shorgy, of course, 1 for 2 so far today. He singled to left and would later come in to score the previous inning. And in the first inning, he grounded into a fielder's choice. Next pitch is in the dirt, controlled by O'Toole, but a 2-2 count. Once again, we got 2s all over the place. The 2-2 count. The runner on second, 2 down. And number 22 pitching for Waltham, that being Justin Moran. He winds and fires. High and inside, and I got a little confused there, and I think everybody was a little confused as Shorgy started to trot down to first base, but he miscounted. That was only ball 3. So instead of a walk, Shorgy will now face a full count after a bit of a hiccup there. Moran sets, winds and fires. That one's inside, and this time it is ball 4. So Shorgy just had to gaze into the future a little bit there to realize he was about to draw a walk. He was just 1 pitch ahead of the game. And Aiden Chin, who so far is 2 for 2, he's been having a very good game at the plate. A single through the gap between second and third in the first inning, and then a single up the middle in the third inning that drove in Shorgy. So 2 for 2 with 2 singles and an RBI. And a run scored as well, so a good day so far for Aiden Chin. Of course, anyone who followed the Brookline High School hockey team this past winter season knows the abilities of Aiden Chin, as he was an effective first-line winger for that hockey team. And now he's shown his skills on the diamond here, as we've got a pitching substitution for Waltham. And that is number 8, Alex Miller, who takes over for Moran. So Justin Moran leaves 2 inherited runners on for the relief pitcher, Alex Miller. He's given up 3 runs. And 2 of them earned, as of course one of them scored in part thanks to an error at third base. But even if it was only 3 runs in a game that's been this tight defensively, you understand the decision. Moran was really starting to lose control of his pitches towards the end of his outing there. So Alex Miller will face off against the center fielder Aiden Chin, who's been hot at the plate this game. Again, 2 for 2 with a pair of singles, an RBI, and a run scored thus far. He comes up with 2 runners on. He's got Owen Roach at second base and Rocco Shorgy at first. So after Miller finishes warming up, Chin steps back into the box. And we'll see what Miller can do on the hill here. Winds and fires into the dirt. Roach was looking to take off, but nothing doing, as it's once again safely corralled by O'Toole. 1-0 now the count. Miller winds and fires, and this one's fouled to the backstop by Chin. 1-1 now the count. One and one, runners on first and second, 2 down here in the bottom of the 4th. Miller checks the runner at second, winds, fires, in the dirt, and this time he gets away from O'Toole, and the runners take off. A high and wide bounce that just got away from O'Toole, who's been doing such a good job corralling the pitches. I mean, you got to mark something like that a wild pitch. As Owen Roach goes to third and Shorgy advances to second. So now 2 in scoring position, and the only force is at first base. With a 2-1 count to Chin. Next pitch just catches the inside corner for strike 2. So a 2-2 count. Runners on second and third for Aiden Chin. We'll see if he's got another RBI hit within him. Here in the bottom of the 4th inning, as Brookline already leads 3-0. The pitch from Miller in the dirt and all the way to the backstop. Roach is coming in. He slides, and the toss to the pitcher is dropped. Owen Roach comes in to score, and Brookline now leads 3-0. 4-0. After the score on the wild pitch. So one of the inherited runners from the starting pitcher, Justin Moran, comes around to score on a wild pitch by the relief pitcher, Alex Miller. These pitches have been dropping considerably in front of the plate, which makes for a higher bounce and much more difficult to corral for the catcher, Matt O'Toole. Full count, winds and fires, low and away, and Chin walks. So an entertaining at-bat with a pair of wild pitches brings in a run, and Chin keeps his his 1,000 batting average for the day alive as he trots down to first with a walk. And now Ramsey Annis steps up to the plate. 0 for 2 thus far with a strikeout and reaching on an error at third. Pitch from Miller, catches the inside corner, strike one. Runners on the corners, still 2 down. Brookline leads 4-0. Miller winds and fires and catches the corner again. Really working that inside corner so far against Ramsey Annis. Aiden Chin taking a significant lead off first base. What is happening? He's taking off. Wait a minute, it's a double steal. Are you kidding me? I cannot believe that worked. How do I even describe the madness that just took place? The umpires are conferring about something. Okay, back up. I'm going to describe what just happened. Aiden Chin was basically walking from first down to second. The fielders, almost weren't even sure what to do about that. They just kind of stared at him, and then all of a sudden the pitcher's like, oh yeah, I can chase him down and tag him. He tries to chase him, tries to toss over to the second baseman, but then as they do, Rocco Shorgy darts for home, and they failed to catch either runner. That was a bizarre base running play, but you can't argue with results as Rocco Shorgy comes in and makes it 5-0, but then a pitch gets right into the strike zone for Ramsey Annis, and that's the last out of the inning. So I'm still a little flabbergasted by that crazy double steal, but Brookline has a 5-0 lead after scoring 3 more runs this inning. And I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, I think, and I will be back with the 5th inning after a quick break. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to Warren Field in Brookline, Massachusetts, as we've got a first pitch slap out to right field for a single by Waltham's Matt O'Toole. So very quickly getting the action underway here in the top of the 5th inning of this Lou Tompkins Youth Baseball League game between Brookline and Waltham. Waltham's catcher Matt O'Toole slaps the first pitch from Jake Levin out to right field for a clean single and Waltham's first hit of the game. Cal Canoni now steps in and takes the first pitch low for a ball. Brookline leading 5-0 so far after 2 runs in the 3rd inning and 3 runs in the 4th. Levin fires another liner, and it's a jumping grab by Caleb McGrath. And he throws to first for the attempted pickoff. It doesn't get there in time, but what a grab. Caleb McGrath having a doozy of a game on both sides of the ball. 1 for 1 thus far at the plate with a double and an RBI walk. And then he's fielded multiple ground balls, including one nice chase on a slow roller up the middle, and now a leaping grab on a liner by Canoni. Justin Moran steps back in and takes strike 1. He was pulled off the mound in the bottom of the 4th after giving up another couple runs. And now he steps back into the plate. Levin fires in the dirt, but corralled by catcher Jasper Reed. Ball 1, and we've got a 1-1 count. Levin checks the runner at first and fires. Moran reaches out and slaps one into right center. It's fielded by Roach. He tries to throw to second, but can't catch either of the runners, and we got another clean single. So 2 singles to right thus far, or I should say 1 to right and 1 to right center, really. Still some nice tracking by Owen Roach to prevent them from getting a runner to third. And now at the plate is number 3. He takes the first pitch, skies it out to left, and it's caught in left field for the second out. So they're just jumping all over the first pitches, as that was Ian LaForest who took the first pitch and skied it out to left for almost a line drive fly ball combo there off the first pitch. So now we got number 24, Jaden Fitzgerald, the third baseman. He cuts at the first pitch and fouls it to the backstop for strike one. Fitzgerald is so far 0 for 1 after grounding out to first in his first at bat. Next pitch is low and away for ball one. 1-1 now the count. And Waltham threatening for the first time today after a pair of singles by Matt O'Toole and Justin Moran. Levin winds, fires, swung on and missed by Fitzgerald as that pitch dropped off the table. So 1-2 now the count. 2 outs, runners on first and second. Brookline leads 5-0. Jake Levin checks the runner at second, winds and fires. In there for strike 3, and the top of the fifth ends as Levin shows, hey, I can't just put them down 1-2-3. I can also get myself out of a jam if I have to. He continues his shutout performance through the top of the fifth inning. And Brookline will be coming back to the plate for the bottom of the fifth. And due up for Brookline will be the catcher, Jasper Reed, followed by the shortstop, Caleb McGrath, and the left fielder, Brage Golding. So basically everybody that caught all 3 outs in the top of the fifth will now be batting in the bottom of the fifth. Golding caught the fly ball to left field by Ian LaForest. Caleb McGrath made that nice leaping grab on the liner by Cal Canoni. And of course, Jasper Reed being the catcher, he caught the strikeout pitch from Jake Levin that ended the inning on the strikeout looking by Jaden Fitzgerald. Alex Miller returning to the mound for Waltham after a shaky finish to the bottom of the fourth. As 2 wild pitches on the first batter he faced Aiden Chin before walking him. One of those wild pitches, of course, bringing in Owen Roach to score. And he ultimately struck out Ramsey Annis, but not before a bizarre double steal somehow managed to fake them out and bring in another run. We'll see if Miller can find some more control this inning. So the last warm-up pitch is thrown by Miller. O'Toole tosses it back down to second. And it comes back to the mound for Alex Miller. Justin Moran, the starting pitcher, now at first base. And a new player has moved over to third, replacing Jaden Fitzgerald. So a few defensive substitutions after the pitching change. Jasper Reed steps into the box. Miller winds and fires into the dirt for ball one. That is what they don't want to see from Alex Miller after the pair of wild pitches in the dirt that he threw in the bottom of the fourth that led to a run scored for Brookline. Miller winds and fires the 1-0 pitch inside, ball 2. Miller stands in, winds and fires, gets a strike this time, and the count moves to 2-1.
Hey, 2-0, let's go, kid.
Miller winds, the 2-1 pitch. Reed rips it, but rips it foul to the left side. Swinging early on it again. Of course, Reed in his previous at-bat in the bottom of the third Finished with a walk, but not without fouling off 3 pitches, 2 of them to that left side. Just got to delay his swing a little bit, and he'll be ripping some clean hits into the outfield with swings like that. Regardless, 2-2 the count. Miller winds and fires, and it drops low. Good eye by Jasper Reed as he works himself to a full count. Miller winds, fires, reaches out, and just manages to foul it into the dirt. Good reach by Jasper Reed. If you're going to take a cut, and it's that far away, the least you can do is make contact and make it a harmless foul ball. Count still full. Miller winds, fires, and it's another walk. Jasper Reed, with the plate patience, gets his second walk. He remains 0 for 1 for the day after a fly out to center in the first. But 2 walks is hard to argue with for that very important on-base percentage. As Caleb McGrath now steps in. First pitch from Miller. Low and inside, ball 1. McGrath, of course, 1 for 1 so far with a double to left center and a bases-loaded walk that drove in Aiden Chin. And Miller throws back to first to check the runner. Nothing doing. But Brookline has had some aggressive play on the base paths over the course of this game. So you can understand him wanting to check on the runner, even if it is the catcher. Miller winds and fires in the dirt, but corralled by O'Toole, ball 2. 2-0 the count to Caleb McGrath. Still the only player on either side with an extra base hit so far, as he hit a nice double out to left center in the second inning. Didn't lead to any runs, but still an impressive hit. The next pitch gets in there for strike 1. 2-1 now the count. Brookline holding a handy 5-0 lead over the undefeated Waltham. Miller sets, winds and fires. McGrath takes a rip at it, but fouls it to the backstop. So 2-2 now the count.
Let's go, Caleb. 8-1-5, let's go, kid.
McGrath steps back into the box. Miller checks Reed at first. Winds and fires. High and inside, ball 3. Once again, that Brookline patience at the plate combined with some handy foul balls, and they're making the Waltham pitchers work for a living today. Miller sets. Winds, fires. Low and away, and that is going to be another walk. So the first 2 batters of the inning for Brookline get their free trips to first, and now the lone lefty, Brage Golding, comes up to the plate.
Hey, Brage, let's go, kid.
Miller checks Reed at second, winds and fires. Golding showed bunt for a second there, and Reed looked like he was about halfway down to third, but the pitch was high and away for ball 1, and so everybody pulled back. Golding grounded out to second in his last at-bat in the bottom of the third. Golding's showing bunt again, and he lays it down the third base line. And the pitcher stumbles, and he reaches. Hard to say whether or not the runners would have reached anyway. That was very good placement of the bunt by Golding. I almost don't want to score that an error for the pitcher, although he did slip as he was trying to grab the ball, because it's hard-pressed to say whether or not he would have managed to get Golding out at first anyway. Beautifully placed bunt by Brage Golding, and some nice base running by Jasper Reed and Caleb McGrath. So the bases are now loaded with no outs as we come back to the top of the order. A brief mound visit by the Waltham coach. Their pitchers have been having some serious trouble with control. As now we move towards the bottom third of the order, as Jack Martell comes up to the plate. Martell, of course, singled down the left field line in his last at-bat in the 4th inning, and would later come around to score on a single by Owen Roach. First pitch from Miller is low, ball 1. Bases loaded for the 2nd straight inning for Brookline. This time it's Jack Martell with the bases loaded situation. Miller winds, fires, and that ball is high for ball 2. And correction, bases loaded for the 2nd time in 3 innings. As Miller winds, fires, and he connects. That's going into right field for a clean single, and Jasper Reed will come in to score. They hold the runner at 3rd, but Brookline scores again.
Let's go. What do you say, Punch?
6-0, now the Brookline lead. And it looks like we've got a pinch hitter, Daniel Villa, number 12, coming to the plate for Eli Rothman. And the first pitch is low for a ball. You look at the records of these two teams coming in, Waltham 3-0, Brookline 1-2, and you might think it'd be a tough game for Brookline, but Brookline has proved more than up to the task as Miller fires, and it's another ball. The control is just not coming to the Waltham pitchers today. 2-0 count to the substitution Daniel Villa, who's coming to the plate in place of Eli Rothman. Miller winds and fires, and it's high again, ball 3. Could we be seeing another bases loaded walk? 3-0 the count. Miller stares in, winds and fires. Ooh, they're going to say he just caught the inside corner there to make it 3-1. Brookline was looking for that ball 4 call to bring in another run. Miller winds and fires, and it's a grounder over to second. The throw is to home, and they catch to the lead runner at home.
Okay, good job.
And so Villa reaches on a fielder's choice, as Caleb McGrath is caught at home on the throw from second to home. CJ Mills, fielding the ball at second and then tossing it home to catcher Matt O'Toole. So first out of the inning, and we've got another new hitter. And this appears to be number 14, Nathan Turetsky. Oh, no, there were 2 number 14s on my roster, so I got it wrong, but thankfully I got a player over here to correct me. It is Conrad Wickman, who is up to the plate. And another pitch in the dirt. This one gets away from O'Toole, and coming in to score is Brage Golding.
Let's go, Beast.
So the wild pitch brings in Brage Golding, and Brookline now leads 7-0. And this pitch is fouled off by Wickman. Bases still loaded, only 1 out in the inning. Actually, bases are no longer loaded after the wild pitch. It's second and third with 1 out. Miller winds and fires. This one goes in the dirt. It's corralled this time by O'Toole. And I believe we now have a 2-2 count.
Hey, 1-4.
Miller winds and fires. Swung on, missed by Wickman. And he goes down swinging.
Hey, let's go, 1.
So 2 outs. And now we've got the top of the order back up with Owen Roach coming back to the plate. Runners on second and third, 2 down. Brookline already with a commanding 7-0 lead over Waltham. Miller winds and fires, catches the corner. Strike 1. Roach had an RBI single to left center, driving in Jack Martell in his previous at-bat. And he fouls this one to the backstop, strike 2. Of course, the at-bat before that, in the third inning, he popped up to shallow left to the shortstop. And then in the first inning, of course, he had a single to right field. So 2 for 3 thus far with an RBI. This next pitch is in the dirt for a ball.
Hey, 1. Let's go, Owen.
1-2 the count. Miller stares in, winds and fires. Roach connects and skies it. This is going to stay in the infield. Caught by the shortstop, and that ends the inning. So Brookline advances their lead to 7-0 after another nice offensive inning, third straight inning that they've scored. Brookline 7, Waltham 0 as we get ready to head to the 6th inning. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan here at Warren Field, and I'll be right back. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to Warren Field in Brookline, Massachusetts. I am still Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, but the score has changed significantly from the first time I introduced myself. Brookline leading Waltham 7-0 in this Lou Tompkins youth baseball game. As we enter the top of the 6th, Jake Levin returns to the mound for Brookline. He's been a monster so far as he fires in the first pitch to number 21, a pinch hitter, Mariano Jimenez, who steps in for Tyler Chiasson. Next pitch is hit a hard grounder off the chest of the third baseman, tries to recover, but he reaches safely. That's why they call it the hot corner over there at third. Those difficult hops can be so hard to control. So now, with a runner on first and nobody out, I think we've got another offensive substitution. That is number 4, Ryland Thomas, stepping in for Nick Anderson. And the first pitch was a ball. 11 pitches, swung on and missed. We got an attempted steal, and Jimenez gets down there safely.
There you go, Jake. Let's go, kid.
That was a tough throw to make for Reed as Thomas was starting to fall across home plate, but no call of interference, and this time Thomas pops it over to second. He catches it, and he throws it to second. What a play by Jack Martell. Great diving grab on the very short pop-up. Jack Martell fielded it well, and a heads-up play. He threw it to McGrath at second for the pickoff, and that's our first double play of the game. We got Alex Miller stepping to the plate, and he fouls the first pitch a few feet away from me.
I can't touch it. No.
Here. Oh. And so Alex Miller, the relief pitcher, is batting for Drew Anderson. And he fouls off the first pitch over the backstop, and thankfully a good 2 or 3 feet away from my head. He grounds the next pitch right back to Jake Levin, who throws it over to first. Another easy inning. It wasn't quite 1, 2, 3. Required a little bit of fanciness on the play of Jack Martell at second base. But once again, Brookline gets out of the inning with no damage. 6 shutout innings now for Jake Levin on the mound as we get ready for the bottom of the 6th. And due up should be Rocco Shorgy. And then Aiden Chin. And then Ramsey Ennis. So the meat of the Brookline order coming up when they're already ahead 7-0. And we've got another pitching substitution for Waltham. This is number 10, Dan Conrad. So Alex Miller gets pulled off the mound after a couple of innings of work. He replaced Justin Moran midway through the bottom of the 4th. Gave up 2 runs, none of them on hits, all on base stealing shenanigans, as Brookline extended their lead to 5-0 in the 4th. Then in the 5th, he pitched the full inning, gave up 2 more runs, one on an RBI hit and another one on a wild pitch, his second run given up on a wild pitch. And that would be the end of his pitching day, as it were, as he's now been pulled in favor of Dan Conrad, Waltham's 3rd pitcher of the day. So, due up, of course, is Shorgy, Chin, and Ennis. Shorgy thus far, he grounded into a fielder's choice in the bottom of the 1st, singled to left, and later scored the game's first run in the bottom of the 3rd. Walked in the bottom of the 4th, and later scored on a fancy double steal. And now comes back up again with a 1-for-2 batting line thus far. First pitch from Conrad, in there for a strike. So 0-1 the count. Just caught the high end of the strike zone on that one. Conrad fires. Shorgy hits it out to right, and it drops. Right fielder tries to throw him out at first, but doesn't get there in time. So Shorgy improves to 2 for 3 on the day with a pair of singles. And Aiden Chin comes to the plate. He is 2 for 2 thus far with a pair of singles, an RBI, and a run scored. And of course, the other end of that double steal that brought Shorgy in to score. First pitch to Chin is a strike. Brookline's done very well getting their first batters on base in almost every inning, which then brings the threat of a steal, puts the pitcher slightly off their game as Conrad catches the inside corner for strike 2. 0-2 now the count. Conrad checks the runner at first, winds and fires. Just outside, and Chin managed to cut his swing. So that's a 1-2 now the count. The 1-2 pitch, and Chin hits a hard grounder over to second. They get the lead runner at second, but can't get the runner at first, so Chin grounds into a fielder's choice as Shorgy is out at second. And that'll be the first out of the inning as Ramsey Annis comes to the plate. Annis's last at bat, he struck out looking. Not before the double steal took place and Brookline scored its 5th run at the time. First pitch, over his head. Annis had to duck, actually. And that's ball 1. Annis so far 0 for 3 on the day, but he has reached on an error. And this one, he skies it. It's going out to left field. Left fielder chases it and just manages to track it down. And that's only 2 outs, but Aiden Chin was rounding second, and so the easy pickoff for the double play. Everybody just kind of stood around for a little bit because Chin was halfway between second and third, so what was the point? But second baseman almost looked like he wasn't sure what to do after the relay throw, but eventually he does pick off Chin at first after the long flyout by Annis. And that ends the 6th inning. So Brookline, their first time failing to score since the 2nd inning, as they have scored 2 runs in the 3rd, 3 in the 4th, and 2 more in the 5th. Their scoring streak ends, and I will be right back with the top of the 7th after a quick break. I'm Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to Warren Field in Brookline, Massachusetts. I am still Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Brookline Youth Baseball still leads Waltham 7-0 as we get started in the top of the 7th. Jake Levin returns to the mound, now facing off against the relief pitcher, Dan Conrad. First pitch is in there for a strike, so 0-1 the count. Levin winds and fires this one in the dirt. Ball 1. Levin sets, winds, and fires. In there for strike 2. 1-2 the count. Levin has been nothing short of dominant so far this game. Granted with some help from some heads-up plays by his fielders, but still, he winds and throws. That one is outside for ball 2. But so far, a shutout, having given up 2 hits, 3 depending on how you score. Mariano Jimenez's hard grounder to third in the top of the 6th, as Levin throws in the dirt for ball 3. So whether it's 2 or 3 hits that he's given up, through 6 innings, that's not bad. Full count pitch from Levin. This one is high, and we've got our first walk by Waltham so far. Levin's first walk of the game given up in the 7th inning. For comparison's sake, the first walk given up by Waltham came in the bottom of the 3rd. So 4 innings ago. Now stepping to the plate, we got a lefty hitter for Waltham as the first pitch is a strike. Having a little trouble seeing the jersey number. It looks like it's number 2. And that's Bobby Deli. So Conrad stepped in, replacing C.J. Mills in the leadoff spot, as Deli takes another strike and now faces an 0-2 count. Pitch comes in just outside, ball 1. The 1-2 pitch from Levin. Low for ball 2. 2-2 the count. Nobody out. Dan Conrad, the relief pitcher, standing at first base. Levin steps off the mound for a second to check the runner at first. but Conrad safely dives back. He stares back at Deli, winds and fires. Deli connects, skies it out to left field. It's being tracked out there and easily corralled by the left fielder, Brage Golding. Except looking at the jersey number, it looks like we had a defensive substitution out there. Number 2, Ian Glick, replaced Brage Golding out in left, and he makes the nice grab. So Matt O'Toole now up to the plate, the catcher for Waltham. Levin winds, fires, jams him inside for a foul ball. O'Toole's mask hanging off of his face as he takes it off and pockets it. Levin checks the runner on first. Winds and fires. O'Toole cuts and misses. Strike 2. 0-2 now the count. After 2 swings by Matt O'Toole, 1 a foul ball, 1 a swing and a miss. Winds and fires. This time O'Toole connects, skies it out to center field. Tracked down in center field for another fly out. 2 down in the top of the 7th. Coming up to the plate is Cal Cannoni. Last time he was up, he was a victim of a jumping grab by Caleb McGrath at short as he swings and misses at a pitch to the outside corner. 0-1 the count. Levin winds and fires. Another swing and a miss. So a quick 0-2 hole for Cal Cannoni. Levin 1 pitch away from finishing this inning. Winds, fires. He connects, skies it out to left center. This one might drop. It's caught! Great catch in left center field by Ian Glick. And that brings an end to the top of the 7th. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the end of the game. Two teams salute each other at the end of this game. Brookline coming away with the win, 7-0. Waltham is dealt its first loss as they fall to 3-1 on the season, while Brookline, with probably their best win of the season so far, both offensively and defensively, their first defensive shutout, courtesy of a complete game shutout by Jake Levin on the mound, as well as their highest scoring outing thus far. They opened the season with a shutout loss, but their offense has been getting better and better with each game, and they showed that improvement today, putting up 7 runs against one of the top teams in the standings to improve to a 2-2 .500 record. So hats off to Brookline for that. Some great rallies early in the game to establish some pressure. Then 2 runs score in the bottom of the 3rd, courtesy of a RBI single by Aiden Chin that drove in Rocco Shorgy, and a bases-loaded walk by Caleb McGrath that drove in Aiden Chin. Then in the 4th, they followed that up with an RBI single by Owen Roach that drove in Jack Martell, a pair of wild pitches that scored Owen Roach, and then still what I consider to be the craziest double steal I have ever witnessed to bring in Shorgy for the 5th run. Then on the bottom of the 5th, they kept things going. This time Martell driving in the run with a single to right that scored Jasper Reed. And then another wild pitch brought in Brage Golding for the 7th and final run of the outing for Brookline. So they score multiple runs in 3 straight innings, all the while Jake Levin was dealing. It wasn't until the 5th inning that he gave up his first hit, and it wasn't until the 7th that he gave up his first walk. So hats off to Jake Levin and the defense behind him, because they came up with some big plays, particularly guys like Caleb McGrath at short, Jack Martell at second and Owen Roach in right field. And then, of course, the defensive substitution in left field in the final inning, Ian Glick, as he comes up with a nice catch, chasing it down in left center. I honestly thought that was going to drop, possibly for extra bases, but he chased it down, made a nice grab, and put a nice little cherry on top of this win for Brookline. So, thank you all for listening. Brookline is next scheduled to play on Thursday back here at Warren Field. So, assuming the good weather holds, I'll be back here again as they get ready for their next home game. This one will be against Muddy River at the same time, 5:45 p.m., same place, Warren Field, and hopefully the same broadcaster, Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, will be back for that game. I hope to be here, and I hope you'll tune in. I'm Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Brookline wins 7-0. Thank you all for listening.